the French economy is not doing so well, just to put it mildly. So we know that whenever there is a economic crisis, it normally follows. What normally follows is a political crisis, and we see in the past 2 years that France has there's been change in prime minister and overall government in the past 2 years. And why is that? Ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing the effects of the alt of you know free flow of natural resources and also financial resources to those who have been looting Africa for a while from the Sahel. This is and this is just a small portion of what these people have been getting for years without paying the fair price. So the debt situation in France has reached an unattainable rate. It's really serious. And we see the prime minister, Francois Beru, if I pronounce his name properly. Forgive me if I don't. Um, so we see that one of his, in the past few days, one of his measures to weather this economic storm, one of the things he put in forward is to, you know, cut, public holidays. And I'm smiling, I'm smirking, not because I'm happy about this, of course, but I'm not sad either. It's because I'm not sad, I would say. So the French economy have been stuck in stagnation for a while now. They've been reporting it for a few months now, and GDP is expected to grow at a rate not more than 0.06%, which I'm not an economist, so even I know that that is not good. That sounds like recession territory right there. Since the revolution in the Sahel, we've seen these these countries, denouncing many agreements. We call them colonial agreements, neo-colonial agreements. But let's say they've been denouncing a lot of agreements. We see, you know, the withdrawal of French troops from the Confederate space. We also saw that there's been a lot of denunciation of like tax agreement where French companies who are operating in the confederal space don't have to pay don't pay taxes to the governments in Africa in the confederal space, but they would rather pay taxes to the French treasury, to the French government, which is actually starving African country from those vital financial resources. So we see the effects of those, cut of financial flow, and that is just the tip of the iceberg. We're talking about, the colonial tax, where African countries have to be paying taxes to the French for bringing so-called civilization. Uh, and we see an indicator of, economic troubles in France. Unemployment rates continue to go, which is worldwide. But like I said, we're not happy about that. But we're laughing because we're not sad. So we see the French government is saying that they're reaching out to Niger. I'm sure they're reaching out to Burkina Faso, Mali, and so forth. They're talking about they're ready to they're willing, not ready, but willing to discuss reparation for colonial massacre. And one of the famous colonial massacre, I would say, is the massacre, the atrocities committed in 1899 by the French colonial conquest in what we call Niger now, the territory in what we call Niger today, where tens of thousands of African people were massacred. It is a, you know, terrible stain on history. It is not mentioned enough. Um, so these are things that especially we as African people we have to talk about, and we should never forget. We shouldn't, underemphasize the atrocities committed against African people, wherever on the continent and outside of the continent. But this, we also seen them saying they're willing to discuss the return of, looted cultural artifacts from, Niger. But this is nothing new. They've said that a few years ago, and we haven't seen any concrete efforts being made for the return of those artifacts. So, what the French are doing now, wouldn't we say like it's a little bit, you're kind of late. You're kind of late to the game. What are they trying to accomplish by reaching out to the Nigerian authorities? It's obvious. They're trying to open a door for dialogue. They're trying to get their way, you know, into discussion, obviously, about these resources, things like uranium. Because remember, the French were buying Nigerian uranium for 80 cents per kilo when the market value was around $200 per kilo, which is just it's just unbelievable. They were basically getting it for free, and they're paying for it with a currency that they control. They control the rate. They control the price. They control the price of uranium. They control the printing of that currency. So you can say basically they were getting it for free because because the CFA is cannot be printed by any of these governments in Africa. So in my opinion, and I know, and this is a credit to a young analyst in the AES Confederal space. General is on. You can find him on YouTube. General Issa Diawa, which he does pretty good analysis. It's in French, of course, but we're in 2025, and anything can be translated. So there should be no discussion on these things with the French, because you want to discuss past atrocities or massacres, your willingness to discuss this and discuss compensation, but are you willing to discuss the problems you are causing in Africa right now? Are you willing to stop the problems you're causing Africans in Africa right now? No, obviously not. This is also a way for their all their destabilization plan has failed. All the coups they've tried against the AES leaders have failed. They've failed to destabilize the government. They've failed. So they're basically trying a different route. It's nothing is genuine about this. Nothing is sincere, and we know this thing won't work because we like I've said, we've seen this before. We've seen all their tricks. As Thomas Sankara said, imperialist is a very bad student. It will always, it never learns. It will always try the same tricks. It will always try the same thing to to get what it wants. So we have to be clear. What the French need is they just need the uranium, because the uranium that they were getting basically for free powered their nuclear power plants. Not only that, they sell that nuclear power to other European countries. Going even further, they sell uranium to other places, maybe throughout the world, to other European country that has nuclear energy. And the French have been, when you look at it, it is cynical to the highest degree. French have who knows how many nuclear power plants, and you've been mining uranium in Africa, in Niger, to be specific. You've been mining uranium in Niger since the I think 60s or 70s. I don't know, and you haven't built one. All you needed to do was build like three or four nuclear power plant to power the Nigerian to for the Nigerians to have um, power. But no, this is to show how devious and how inhumane colonialism is. Colonialism basically is just here to just take and take and take. It doesn't care about you know what happened to native people, African people. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing the effects of just three countries standing up to the bully, standing up to the colonizer. And if this continues to go on, meaning more countries that continues to stand up, the world will be a lot different. The world will be a lot different. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's the end of the week. We're a bit tired out here, but we had to come quick to discuss this, put it out there that it might seem that we are small, but the small things we do has its effects. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining Stream Dialogue. We will see you again next week. We'll discuss topics, analyze, like we said, dialogue. Thank you so much. Salute.